Hello, it's your internet cartoon hyena JCal Arts here. In today's video, we're going to be creating a cast of supervillains for the main characters in Loonatics Unleashed to go against, fixing one of the show's biggest weaknesses of having unrememberable villains. If you haven't already, I suggest you watch parts 1 and 2 to see how I redesigned the main heroes, but now on to the drawing. So starting off with the team of villains, I'm going to be basically reinserting a character that I've omitted in the Loonatics hero team, and that character is Slam Tasmanian. In part 2 of this series, I went into more detail as to why I booted Slam off the hero team, but the TLDR is that Slam and Ace's ancestors, Tasmanian Devil and Bugs Bunny respectively, were originally rivals, and so I see it make more sense to put Slam in a team antagonistic towards Ace Bunny's team. So in this redesigned Slam, I decided to make him a cook for the villain team. Now, it's not an entirely left field idea, as in the original shorts, you can see Tasmanian Devil prepare whatever character he's trying to eat in a fancy style fashion, so it's calling reference to that. And you can see in this design as I decided to make a black cutout shape in his uniform that resembles an apron in shape. So when I was brainstorming ideas for Slam, I ended up making a discovery. His ancestor, Tasmanian Devil, has a similar looking haircut to Marvel's Wolverine. I mean, they both have like the little pointed ends at the sides of each head, and really the only difference between Wolverine's haircut and Tasmanian Devil's is that Tasmanian Devil has like a little cowlick in front of his face. And so after making that discovery, I decided, okay, I'm gonna make Slam's outfit look similar to Wolverine's. Instead of yellow and black, it's gonna be purple and black. And with the aforementioned black cut apron shape, Slam's redesign is done. So finally, I changed Slam's superpowers up a little bit. While he still retains his tornado spin move that you see him do in the show, I decided to make his attributes be influenced by what food he eats. So like if he eats vegetables, he becomes faster. If he eats meat, he becomes stronger. Basically the Monardo arts for the Smash fans out there. And I feel like this can make Slam, uniquely Slam and give him a superpower more unique to him and what Tasmanian Devil is known for, which is eating a lot. So now we're on to the character who will lead this group of supervillains, and that will be Sylvester. I'm just going to refer to him as Slyvester and then his ancestor as Sly in this video. Now, Slyvester's descendant in Loonatics Unleashed show, his design is chef's kiss, if you ask me. When I saw this, I thought he was like the coolest thing ever, and easily design-wise my favorite character in the Loonatics Unleashed show. He just embodies that, Saturday morning cartoon super villain vibe, if you ask me, design-wise alone. And having that menacing design contrasts with his, relatively very similar voice, at least in terms of being similar to his ancestor, I just thought that was so cool. So I want to keep most of this character intact because I think he was just really well designed, if you ask me. So with a design like that, you wonder why he's not the main supervillain of Loonatics Unleashed. He has Saturday morning cartoon villain written all over him, from the design to how that menacing design is contrasted with his relatively goofy voice that still remains intact from his ancestor. I mean, we're gonna get besides the point. He is the de facto supervillain in this redesign. So instead of Sylvester being robotically augmented, he in this redesign is going to be a military commander of sorts. He's the type of guy who uses military time and confuses everybody when he does so. He, uses affirmative and negative instead of yes and no. And I wanted to give off military LARPing dad vibes with Sylvester. And this goofy personality is intentional, as I honestly just had too much fun with this redesign. And you can tell from the drawing, he's wearing red baggy army pants, cat themed boots, and his armor plate is black, white, and pink to kind of look like a cat is about to, bite you. And he has the similar looking helmet in the original design of the show. And you can tell already, I pretty much had fun designing this character. So to start off the OC train, we're gonna have the character SJ join the villain team. SJ is the son of Sylvester, and this is clearly a reference to Sly Jr., who is the son of Sly in the original Looney Tunes shorts. And I basically have father and son work together in the villain team to take down the Loonatics Unleashed. I see SJ as a prodigy. I see him as a very talented young man, and with all that talent has caused him to form a very braggadocious, hot-headed attitude and wanting to impress his father at every turn. I see him being very close to his dad and, having a Bowser and Bowser Jr. sort of type of relationship. So SJ uses a weapon for his superpower, just like his hero counterpart Ace Bunny. And just like Ace Bunny, his super weapon essentially is the pole arm that transforms into different props used by his ancestor Sly in the original Looney Tunes shorts. And instead of handsaws, baseball bats, and anvils, SJ uses forks, knives, cigarette butts, and all these other props / weapons that Sly used in the original Looney Tunes shorts. Since SJ and Sylvester are essentially related, their family, I wanted to make that connection obvious with their designs and have them wear similar costumes, where Sylvester is more of the zealous military commander in terms of how he's dressed. SJ is going for more, rebel, emo, punk, biker look, and I see him basically being a tryhard and trying his best to be as menacing and evil as possible and failing hilariously just like his dad. But I won't get deep into my fanficky ideas for, these redesigned characters. I'm just gonna push on along. This is the end of SJ's segment, so now on to the new character. So, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary people watching, let me introduce you to Pierre Le Pew, Pepe Le Pew's descendant. Now, he's technically not a new character because Pierre Le Pew did make an appearance in Loonatics Unleashed, but I've obviously completely redesigned him and reworked him from the ground up, and he is here to compete for all the affection with Tech E Coyote on the internet for the furries out there. Now, if I remember correctly, Pierre basically tried to get Slam to participate in a rigged wrestling match in the original show, but that's not really relevant to this redesign. And Pierre in the show, if I recall, wasn't even a descendant of the famed skunk Pepe Le Pew. He was more so just like a human caricature stand-in. But that's again not relevant in this redesign. Pierre is the descendant of Pepe Le Pew, and just like his ancestor, he's a flirtatious, slightly inappropriate lover guy. Where Pierre's ancestor Pepe stunk because he's a skunk, Pierre is unique amongst other skunks as he actually smells really good and has a scent of cheap Valentine cologne that never leaves him. Even if he were to jump in a pile of trash, he can walk out of it and still smell like the very cheap Valentine's Day cologne that you see in grocery and convenience stores. And I imagine him being able to use this scent to poison people and hypnotically put people to sleep as well. So I've made the interesting decision. I don't know how well it's gonna go down with you guys, but Pierre essentially will be the muscle of the group, and he has super strength to tie into his scent powers. And basically it's a reference to his ancestor Pepe, basically picking up and lifting his love interest without their consent, admittedly. And so it's not completely out of left field here. And since Slam essentially has, the ability to change his attributes based on the food he eats, I decided to give Pierre the generic super strength. This is a reference to the few times that his ancestor Pepe would basically put on perfumes to address his BO issues, and in one particular short he put on cologne so strong to where his love interest Penelope actually ended up pursuing him constantly and aggressively. And so this little superpower or trait, I guess, is a reference to that idea. When you really think about it, Pepe basically grapples with his love interest. I mean, I know he's not trying to be violent, but he basically gives Penelope, his primary love interest, the bear hug and tries to lock her down and keep her close. And so he just gives me grappler vibes, and I decided to pass on those grappler vibes onto his descendant, which is where his super strength comes in. And his descendant loves to basically grapple with his opponents in the battlefield. And so he's rocking a dark pink singlet, topped off with a rose-colored leather jacket, and he's here to go in, grapple around, and have fun. I also see Pierre basically being the lazy bum of the villain group because outside of fighting, I imagine him basically being the dude who's late to meetings, calls his girlfriends during his job when he shouldn't. And besides that, I have nothing else to say on Pierre. Well, you're gonna get 2 in 1 for the last character because now I would like to introduce you to Philip and Patricia Pig. Philip and Patricia Pig are obviously a reference to Porky and Petunia Pig, and note that I said a reference. These two are not descendants of these two characters, and so I don't want any Alabama jokes in my comment section or joking about, oh my god, Philip is shacking up with his third cousin. No, these two are random pig characters, and they're just here to be standbys, or ex-spies rather, for Porky and Petunia. Philip and Patricia essentially are the interns of the villain team. They take care of all of the paperwork and the boring office type of stuff for the villain team. And considering that Slam and Pierre aren't really the characters that would be interested in doing that type of stuff, they basically, you know, get all the legal and boring office official stuff out of the way and done for the villains. At first, the couple are basically taken aback at the fact that they're essentially working with supervillains and doing their paperwork, but then as time goes on and as they start to go on missions, they showcase that they can be just as evil and mean towards the Lunatics Unleashed team like the other villains are. In Lunatics Unleashed the show, Porky's descendant was essentially a corrupt cop who wanted to get back at Danger Duck for being a douche, which is understandable, and I wanted that same storyline to be present here, and once Philip learns that Danger Duck is part of the Lunatics Unleashed hero team, maybe that is the inspiration that really kickstarts him to really participate with the villain team, and Petunia, being the supporter partner she is, joining him on his exploits and plans to destroy Danger Duck. So that's it of this video in this 3-part series, so on to the final picture. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Do your cartoon hyena a favor and like, comment, and subscribe, and see you next time.